During the latter part of that period, it got very unfriendly. It got personal, which was difficult. As part of the whole process, I was trying to be helpful. I mean, we were looking for other water sources. We were looking for means of conserving water. We were looking for water storage. We were looking for anything that would get us out of this hole that we were in, including consolidation with other systems. And there was a plan to consolidate the entire county on a single water source, Rocky Creek up near Depot Bay, and that it would be managed by Lincoln City and Newport and then feed everybody else in the county. We would be able to get off of all of the systems that we had by using just one system, have massive amounts of storage, and it would be a wonderful thing. It didn't work. But as part of it, we had consolidation hearings between Yachats, Southwest Lincoln, the next system up, and Waldport. And that actually produced something pretty good. We have intergovernmental agreements. We connected all of the lines between all of them. We now have kind of mutual aid that, if somebody's short, then it can be supplied by another. That worked very well. But during those hearings, the representative from Water Resources came up to me and said, "What'd you do to the mayor?" What? He says, "What did you do to the mayor of Yachats?" I said, "Why?" He says, "Well, he pulled me aside at the break, and he said that you were the devil." This guy was a professor emeritus of religious philosophy, and he was a deacon of the church, and he knew very well right and wrong. And I figured, I mean, if this guy thinks I'm the devil, well, he's kind of an authority. So I called my mom. And I told her this, and her response was that it was very unlikely. But it got very nasty, and I didn't appreciate that at all. And I had to get even by doing a public show about him. Just after that, the city hired a professional engineering group to do a water master plan, which they did quite well. It was accepted by the city. It includes all of the things that they have to do in order to take water out of the river. The city is still committed to taking water out of the river. That they spent $25,000 a couple of years ago in order to satisfy one of the requirements, which was to monitor the levels of water in the river, which is something that we needed them to do before they started taking the water out. And I guess they put in a monitor, and what the public works director was telling me was that some fishermen destroyed it, which is too bad, because we'd like to know. I mean, we've been measuring right above that for 10 years, and I would like to know, how close we are to their numbers. After this all kind of cooled down, DEQ started going up and down the coast looking for people to do water quality monitoring in the coastal streams. They were required by the Clean Water Act of 1972, signed by our last great environmental president, Richard Nixon, to study all of the surface water in your state to determine what were the water quality limiting factors of that water, to propose a remedy, and then to do what they call TMDLs, total maximum daily loads. They're talking about places, like the Cuyahoga River, where they have, all kinds of junk flowing down the river, and they have to come up with a figure, how much mercury can this river take, in terms of the total maximum daily load of things inhibiting water quality. But you get out here, and we don't have that. But they still had to do the water quality analysis, and they had to do the remedies, and they had to do the TMDLs. And although we were not hired to do that, we were trained to get them enough information to be able to see where the hotspots were and to be able to go back and do their own stuff. Well, they came out and trained us twice because the first time didn't take very well. And gave us a bunch of instruments, which we had a lot of fun with. And then we got serious about it. And we set up a really good, we set up a great lab, for one thing. We had like 4 people who were working together, or 5 people who were working to do the analysis in the labs. And we started into a 10-year study in the year 2000 to actually get a snapshot of what the water quality in this river looked like. Now, there was a guy up north who wrote a letter to the city saying, why would you give money to these people to come up with evidence to cause you trouble? What could be going through your head that you would want to fund this group? And he was right. But there was something else. When I decided that I was going to become project manager for this, I did not want to answer a question. DEQ said, well, you have to ask the question, you have to answer it. And that sounded really stupid to me because, of course, you're going to answer the question you want to answer, and you're going to find ways to do it. It's kind of like, you know, you make the study so that you're going to come up with the kind of conclusions you want. I wanted to do a study which would just take a look at the basic parameters, and then every time that we found an anomaly, every time that we found something odd, we would write another study and follow that. So we would allow what we were looking at to determine what we would be looking at. And we wouldn't have an end toward the next study. We would just say, why is the pH high in this reach? You know, why is the temperature high in this reach? You know, where's the E. coli coming from? Start to examine things that were brought up by our own data. And I told the city council that really, I got into this to answer the question about what happens to water quality when river levels go down. I essentially was still haunted by that phrase, rivers can consume themselves. And I didn't know. And I wanted to find out if there was any truth to this. Well, we didn't find out. We studied for 10 years and came up with a lot of data. And actually, for those of you who came to hear about last year's data, I do have the data abstracts over there, and you can take them with you when you go. You can see what we did last year. We are going to continue, although this is our 10th and final year, we are going to continue next year. I'm going to get some money, and we are going to do a summarized analysis of the entire 10-year study and try to put it in its most cogent form. First, we have to figure out how to do that. I'm trying to remember where I was.